Assalamu alaikum friends. My name is Abdul Khalik Darwish. Listen, every one of us want to become a rich person. There are certain exceptions who don't want to be, but overwhelming majority of us they want to become a rich person. They don't want to stay poor at all. They don't want to become even the mediocres. Everyone else want to become a rich person. Maybe that is a human nature. Now some of the people are just wishing for that. Another some of the people they are trying for that. And those who are just wishing, they rarely, very rarely they achieve the wealth, while those people who are trying, striving and struggling to be a rich person, sometimes they succeed, and at other times they don't succeed in that. But those who do succeed, why do they succeed? Usually they are seen copying the other people, copying those people who have already achieved whatever they want to achieve, mean you who have already become a rich person by their efforts, by their struggle. So these people who want to become rich people now, they try to follow them. They try to understand how they are living, what are they doing, how they do the thing, what are their rules, what are their principles, which are making them, which has made them the rich person. And today we are going to talk about how to become a rich person. And once we are talking about how to become a rich person, obviously we do have to speak that what is the way adopted by the people who are already rich. And like always, we have chosen a beautiful article on the subject as well. And this beautiful article has been written by none other than Steve Burns. Steve Burns is a very well-known researcher and author, and the caption of his beautiful article is 25 rules of rich. 25 Rules of Rich is the article of Steve Burns. Now, we are going to talk about these 25 rules of rich people, and if at all we come to know the rules of these, if at all we try to implement and practice these 25 rules, I assure you that our efforts will become far more effective as far our efforts of achieving more and more wealth are concerned. So, the first rule here is pay yourself first. What is meant by it? Pay yourself first. It actually means that if at all you are working somewhere else, if at all you are going to start a business, you are doing a business, first of all you should think and plan that if at all a kind of a reasonable salary will be there, available for you. And if at all it is unable to provide you even this reasonable salary, there is no use of doing that particular thing at all. So pay yourself first. Number two, leverage other people time and money. Those who have become the rich people, now what they do, they don't just rely on their own time. They don't just rely on their own money. Rather, they seek the cooperation of the people, and by availing the time and the money of the other people, it doesn't succeed all the time, but sometime you need actually the help of the other people at a certain time. Leverage other people time and money. The second rule. The third rule is always have multiple streams of income. Always have multiple streams of income. Do not rely on just one source of income. Try to have several. Try to have more than one. And that was the third rule. The fourth rule is never rely solely on earned money. So what is this? So instead of relying on your salary like income, or whatever you directly earn by your time, you should try to create the sources for the passive income, where your money is working and you are not working at all. You are free from that, but it should be generating the money. Number five rule: understand the power of compound returns. What is this? It actually means that here, even in our society, the people are seen investing in the making the fixed deposit. If at all they deposit the money for 2 years, they will be getting suppose 12, 13%, whatever, I don't know exactly. And if at all they fix it for 5 years, this annual return will be increased. And if at all they fix it for the 10 years, it will further increase. So this like thing, understand the power of compound returns. And the sixth is prioritize financial education. And if at all, there is a general education, and there is a technical education, there is a professional education. But here the writer says that prioritize financial education. All of those educations are okay, but the most important of all must be the financial education. Because if at all you want to become a rich person, the financial education must be kept at the number one priority. Number seven, avoid lifestyle inflation. What is this? Mean if at all spending more and more on your lifestyle, that is bad at all. It must be contained, it must be restricted. This is so important. Number 8, build and maintain a strong network of the people, network of the friends. Build and maintain, building and maintaining a strong network, that's very important, because their cooperation will be needed. And number 9 is invest in assets and not liabilities. Invest in assets and not, what is this actually? This actually means the people are seen constructing the big houses, the big cars. So these are all in the eyes of the author, these are all the liabilities and not the assets. Because according to them, if at all it is generating your income, it is, if at all it is contributing in the generation of the further income and further money, then it is an asset in the eyes of the writer. Otherwise it's a liability, and it is considered liability there in the western countries. And that is so. Number 10 rule, take calculated risk. So the risk must be we cannot avoid the risk if at all we want to develop, but these risks must be well calculated and well prepared. Otherwise it might be quite dangerous, otherwise it might be known as a gambling. Take calculated risk. Number 11, surround yourself with like minded successful people. Surround yourself with like minded successful people. What is that, by the way? Sir, I mean, if at all we are always in conflict with the people, how can we, survive well? And for that purpose, we need to have the like minded people. Like minded does not necessarily mean that you are agreeing with each other 100%. That's not the right case, that's not possible. But to some extent, up to considerable extent, we should be, like minded. And surround yourself with a like minded successful people. And now the number 12, or the rule number 12 is know the difference between price and value. Sometime sometime uncertain thing, they are having, they are being sold at a high price, but their actual value is very little. So we shouldn't be buying those things at all. We should buy only those things which are available at the right value, the actual value of that particular thing. Now the 13th is think long term. Yes, think long term. All the successful people, they do think long term. And we should try to sacrifice the short term benefit, the short term player, and we should focus on the long term benefits. Now the 14th rule of the rich is embrace change and be adaptable. If at all, the change is unstoppable in the world. The change is unstoppable. The only thing which is unstoppable is the change. The change cannot be stopped at all. So what to do? Instead of keeping, complaining, criticizing, moaning and groaning about the change, it is very much important that we should be accepting the change, and we should be actually become adaptable and ready for the change, and we should readily adopt the change. The number 15 rule is use debt strategically. Use debt strategically. Mean the debt is, all the debt is not bad. Some of the debts which are invested well in the business, which generate a reasonable amount of income, is good. And the number 16 rule of the rich is protect your wealth. Yes, the wealth must be protected through insurance, through tax strategies, and legal structures. So that is all the, that's also, if at all you have become a wealthy person, you are attaining and gaining the wealth, it must be protected. Now the number 17 is rule is reinvest dividends and profits. Whatever profits you are having, do not consume all of that. It should be reinvested. And the number 18 rule is seek out great mentors that are already doing what you want to do. You want to become a rich person, somebody have already become a rich person, so we need to learn from them. Everybody willing be willing to teach us, but we need to choose some of them. Even if it was there is one great person who can teach us how to become a rich person. Number 19, rule number 19 of the rich is constantly focus on self improvement. One thing, constantly focus self improvement. So because it is we who are very very important actually, and or constantly focus on self improvement, and the always we should keep improving ourselves. The rule number 20 of the rich people is limit exposure to toxic people and think toxic thinking. Yes, toxic people are there around us everywhere else, so we should minimize our interaction our interaction with those people, and even we should contain the toxic thinking inside us as well, the negative thinking inside us as well. Rule number 20 of the rich people is understand the value of a strong person's brand. Try to become a brand yourself, and a strong person's brand. Yes, we must understand the importance of it. We must understand the value of a strong person's brand. Now the 22 rule is negotiate everything. Do not accept whatever they are demanding. Negotiate well. And the number 13 is never stop learning new information, new knowledge, new wisdom, new skills, etc., etc. Always keep learning, never stop learning throughout your life, because once the learning is stopped, the improvement is stopped. The improvement is stopped, then there is no development, no prosperity at all. The rule number 24 is control expenses and live below means. Yes, we because it is very easy to increase the expenses. Here, the learned author says that try to contain your expenses and live below means. And number 25 rule, and the final rule is know your worth and don't undervalue yourself. It might seem unimportant, but if at all we don't understand our own value, and we don't treat us accordingly, what is going to happen that nobody will treat us well, nobody will give the right sort of value to us. Know your worth and don't undervalue yourself. We should try to know our real worth, and we should never ever undervalue ourselves. So these are the 25 rules of the rich people. I think if at all we want to become a rich person, we must be following those 25 rules, and we will become a rich person inshallah. Thank you.